Good evening and welcome to Mac and Talk number 70 for Tuesday, June 24th, 2025. I am your facilitator, Chanelle Allen. Mac and Talk is a Q&A conference call for anyone with Mac questions. Whether you are considering the purchase of a Mac, or maybe you've had VoiceOver for a little while and need some encouragement and suggestions for getting started, or you could be a longtime user with a question about an app or feature. For whatever reason, I am glad that you are joining us tonight or later on via the podcast recording. Before we get into our call, I'll just take a brief moment to remind you about iBug Today. You can visit us on the web at our website, ibugtoday.org. There you can learn about our social media. You can look at our calendar of upcoming events. And most importantly, you can register to become a member. I believe everyone here is a member, but for the sake of the recording, you can go, and becoming a member will put you on our email list so that you're informed of all of our upcoming events. All of our trainings and social events are free. So it's pretty easy to get started. You can also find us on social media like Facebook and Twitter. Our YouTube, if you just search for the iBug Today channel, youtube.com/@iBugToday, I believe. And we have all of our calls podcasted there, as well as on our website. As far as for things coming up this week, we are drawing to the end of the month, but I do know we have iBug Night at the virtual movies on Friday. Always something to look forward to, beginning at 7 p.m. The movie, and I'm probably going to butcher the title, is The Spy Who Came Out of the Cold, or I just looked at it a few minutes ago. 1960s movie. Come join us for that. Then on Saturday, and let's see, the movie is the 27th, Saturday the 28th from 2 to 4 p.m. We have our monthly iBug Apple workshop where we get to talk about the latest and greatest with Apple, and most informatively hear demonstrations from some of our members on favorite apps and features that they use. That, I believe, I don't know when the next iBug Unplugged is, but stay tuned to your emails and social media. All of our announcements are posted in all of the social media platforms. So be sure to just check us out. And now we will get to my favorite part, where all of you get to go around and say who you are and where you're calling from. Well, actually, my favorite part is your questions, but all right, here we go. So, I am Chanelle in Houston.
This is Herbie in Houston.
Welcome.
This is Robert, not the one in Texas, but the one in Arizona.
Welcome, Robert.
This is Pete, and I'm in Jacksonville, Florida, and the movie is called The Spy Who Came In From the Cold.
Okay, all right, thanks.
Richard Burton and a cast of famous characters.
All right. Thanks for the correction, and welcome, Pete.
You're welcome.
This is Robert from College Station, Texas.
Welcome, Robert.
Paul in Columbus.
Welcome, Paul.
John, BC, Canada.
Welcome, John.
Christina, Colorado.
Oh, Christina, welcome.
Thank you.
This is Brad. I'm in Dallas.
Welcome, Brad.
Live in Austin.
Oh, did I say that again? Did you say Kearns?
I said Cliff in Austin. Chanelle, what's happening?
No, I thought, I'm looking at names here on the list. So sorry. Anyway, welcome, Cliff. Glad to have you. All right. Christina, is this your first time joining us?
Hello. I think it's my second.
Okay. I do apologize. Well, welcome again anyway.
I'm not 100% sure, but I think it might be.
Okay. Well, we're glad to have you.
Well, thank you. I'm glad
you
to be
just seem
here.
like one of our newest members, so I thought I'd acknowledge you. Okay.
I am fairly new, so you're correct.
All right. So who would like to get started with our first question?
Oh, also Bernard, Washington, D.C.
Oh, welcome, Bernard. You said Bernard?
Bernard, yes.
Welcome, Bernard.
Thank you.
This is Pete.
Yep. Hi, Pete.
Hi. Can I ask a question?
You can.
Can I get us started on the topic of Amadeus Pro, or is it too early for that?
Well, you raised it. Let's go ahead with it.
Well, I see Cliff in the bunch, and I wanted to give a shout out to Cliff, the man, the Amadeus Pro guru. And Cliff, I've got a bunch of friends, several, who are having keyboard shortcut problems with Amadeus Pro. Have you seen anything like that in your travels, my friend?
Not, you're giving me the credit, but not learned everything I know from you. But no, I have not. I also haven't edited anything in the last maybe 2-3 weeks, maybe. And I'm also running the beta of Tahoe, anyways. But Amadeus works just fine for me on there. So no, I have not seen anything that has been hampering any keystrokes or anything. So.
It's been working for me too, but actually Christina and another friend who sometimes comes into Mac and Talk, some of the shortcuts on the keyboards don't work. I think they're sporting laptops, MacBook Air and the M4 and MacBook Air, I think a friend of mine has. And the keystrokes.
I actually have one of those too. I just got it about a month ago. So yeah, I'm running it on there just like, that's what I use at work. So.
That's surprising because I'm seeing a lot of people, they can't get to the end of the file. There any commands that they use to get to the end of the file, whether it's Option End or whether it's the FN option, right arrow and left arrow keys to get to the end or the beginning of a file. Some of their ASDF keys, which are the editing selection keys, are not working. So I was just wondering if you'd heard of it. So
okay. Well, I know how to get a hold of you. I'll check it out this weekend and let you know.
All right. Let me know. Thanks, Cliff.
No problem.
All right. Glad.
Robert, College Station.
Yeah, go ahead, Robert.
I edit my podcast with Amadeus Pro and have since, 2010. And I'm on an M3 MacBook Pro and having no keyboard problems at all.
Have you heard of any, Robert, by any chance, from others?
I have not, but I don't cross paths with a ton of other people who use Amadeus Pro. But the people that I know who use it, I have not heard of any problem.
This is Herbie.
Yes, Herbie.
One thought I had, because I'm using an M2, I'm having no problems. But is anybody in here using for Amadeus Pro an internal keyboard? Because I'm using an external Apple keyboard, like the full size one.
Herbie, you know me.
Yeah, I'm using the internal keyboard.
I'm using internal also. Sorry about that, Brad.
No, I was going to say, I use it from time to time on my MacBook Pro with the internal keyboard, and I don't have any problem. One thing you might want to make sure, whoever you're talking with, Pete, make sure they're not, a lot of times just by habit, they'll hold down the VO modifier.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Make sure they're not doing that. I mean, you were texting me one time about the command to go to the end of the file, and I believe, if I can't remember, but it seems like you were asking VOFN right arrow. Does that? And yes, that does, but I didn't realize at the time you were asking, you were talking about, we were talking about Amadeus Pro, but I may not have answered the question correctly, but I have tried it myself. Just FN right arrow, and it goes straight to the end of the file.
Yes, it does.
Yep. Oh. And this is Herbie with one other thought.
Yes, Herbie, and then I have something.
Is any of the people that are having problems, like I'm using the actual version from the website, are any of the people having the issues using the App Store version?
I use the App Store version. I'm having no problem.
Okay.
I use the website version.
Yeah, I've got the App Store version. I've got the extended keyboard with no FN key, so I wouldn't have been discussing.
The other thing, too, Pete, is make sure that QuickNav is not on also, because that could definitely hamper it.
That'll miss you. Sure. Yeah. Actually, you do have an FN key, Pete. It's in the 6-pack area, I believe.
Yeah, but trust me, I don't touch it.
So then I thought I was supposed to use Option, and then I use the End key on my extended.
Yeah.
Because I have is that wrong?
No, that's correct.
Okay, because that's what Herbie told me to use. But
is it Option End or just End? It's Option End. You are correct.
Option End. Right.
Yes, you're correct. So it'd be FN Option right arrow on the MacBook Pro.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Christina.
Yes, Christina.
Hello. So I have been experimenting with Amadeus Pro on a 21 M1 MacBook Pro. And so the problem that I was having was my keyboard kept taking over. So when I would hit tab, it would tab. It wouldn't play.
Oh.
And I made sure voiceover focus was on the scroll area, and it just I can't even tell you. It was just such erratic behavior.
In Amadeus, try not to have it on that scroll area. Because sometimes if I'm in there, that'll throw me off too.
Oh, okay. And so what I did to help, it made a huge difference, was I went into my voiceover utility and I set the mouse pointer to follow voiceover cursor. And that made everything work so much.
That was the default
better.
anyway, but
pretty much, yeah.
I thought the default was ignore, and
It is now. It used to not be.
Okay, yeah.
Well, at least I think it used to not be. But it was set to ignore voiceover cursor, and then I changed it to follow voiceover cursor. And then my tab key and everything, I stopped having the keyboard taking over problem. So,
interesting. Yeah. But in many other applications, we recommend it ignore, like in Safari.
Exactly.
Yes.
So I set up an activity. So when I'm in Amadeus, I want it to follow.
Isn't there also a setting in Amadeus where you have to tell the tab key what you want it to do?
Oh.
I don't think so. Cliff,
I thought I saw something in there when I was tweaking around with it a few years back, but my settings are so elementary to me. It's I can do them in my sleep, so I can't remember. But
yeah, I haven't gone into those settings in a long time. But
Robert, College Station.
Yes, Robert.
Just tab key.
Oh, sorry, Pete. Go ahead, Robert.
Well, I was just going to tell you, Christina, that, it does work better for whatever reason with the way you set up the voiceover cursor in the mouse. But also, if you get yourself into a situation where keyboard is being weird, normally you can just tap the escape key a couple times and that'll straighten it out.
It will.
Yeah, yep. I've done that too.
It's a cure-all.
Christina?
It is. Yes, Christina?
So before I changed the cursor, the mouse pointer to follow voiceover cursor, escape just would not fix it. Nothing would. Wow. Sometimes I would close it, open it. It was just crazy. But now everything's working much, much better, much more, how I expect it to behave. So, and I am a newbie, by the way, at Amadeus Pro. So,
Well, that's an excellent workaround you figured out. I don't want to dwell too much more on this topic. We can come back later if interest. I'm sorry.
I'm just saying thanks. Thanks for entertaining it for a little while.
No, it's great.
We can go off into hours and hours on this, and we've done so in the past.
Yeah, we could.
And we can come back potentially, but I do know of at least one person who had another question, so I want to make sure we can get to that.
Oh, sorry, because I did actually have another quick Amadeus Pro related question, or do you want me to come
we're going to
it?
come back.
Okay, fine.
All right. Next question on another topic, please.
This is John.
Yes, go ahead, John.
So I'm new to the Mac, so I'm really a beginner, but I'm kind of tinkering around. But I was wondering, how do you take advantage of the send later feature with messages on the Mac? I know how to do it on the iPhone, but
excellent question.
This is Herbie.
Go ahead, Herbie.
So clarification, are you referring to the send later in email messages or text messages?
This is John.
Yes.
Go ahead, John.
Text messages.
I will tell you, it's not a feature I like on the Mac. You have to VO space in the apps button. You have to find the Sun Later option in there, and then it'll bring it up, and there's a weird little scroll area that you have to try to manipulate, and yeah, I don't. I'm personally not a big fan, but Chanelle's used it more successfully, I think.
I would just like to offer a bit more encouragement, perhaps. It is a little weird at first, and it seems very undoable, but actually you do interact in the scroll area, and then when you want to choose a time, you have to interact in that too. But then if you hit, like if you go to the hour and hit VO space, then you can just type in over it, but you have to hit the VO space first. So I have definitely gotten it to work. I forgot where it was the other day. I forgot to go into the apps button. But you know, it just takes some playing with, but you should be able to use it if you want to give it a try.
I will. Thank you.
Yeah. Go ahead, Cliff.
I'm glad you saved her, because I was just about to rip him to shreds, because that's a great feature. I love it. And the way you just explained it is exactly the way it has to be done. Go in and select the app, and then just VO spacebar in each edit field to do the time, the date, the minute, and it's a great feature. And your Mac, your Messages app doesn't even have to be open for it to go. So I love that feature.
I've never been sure about that, if it has to be open.
Matter of fact, when I set mine up, it actually shows up on my phone too.
Oh, that's better than the mail.
Ooh, cool. Okay. Well, thanks, Cliff. Glad you've had a good experience similar to mine. It wasn't good at first because I was frustrated.
No, it wasn't. They did have to tweak it a little bit, but it is much better now.
Yeah.
Well, this is Herbie. I'll just say that you know that you get my messages right on time.
All right. All righty. Great question. What?
Or else.
Yeah. Who would like to ask our next question?
This is Cliff.
Yeah, go ahead,
This
Cliff.
is one that's been bothering me. Maybe Brad can throw some insight here. I'm trying to set up activity. I'm not trying to do nothing fancy. Mm-hmm. I'm just trying to use different voices with different apps. But when I go into it, the voice won't use the voice that I selected. It'll still use my default voice. And I've set it up the way that I've always in the past. Pick the activity, pick the app, pick the voice, done, bam. But when I open that app, it won't use the voice that I selected.
Oh, weird.
You're talking, this is Brad.
Go ahead, Brad.
An activity?
Yes.
God. See,
but
I teach it, but I don't use it.
Right. And on, what are we on? Sequoia, that the features have changed a little bit, especially with having to add voices to the rotor. And all the voices that I'm selecting are in my rotor, so that shouldn't be the issue.
Huh.
Well,
I don't know that I did in the fall. I taught it with Sequoia. I don't know. I should actually use it. I teach it, but I don't use it. I don't know. Maybe Robert uses it, or I heard us say Christina's using it. She was making activity, but maybe that was just for her mouse pointer and not voices. I don't know. I will have to play with it.
Go ahead, Christina.
I have not tried voices in activity. Just the one that I mentioned, the Amadeus Pro and mouse pointer follows voiceover cursor. That's it.
Okay, well, if I remember, I may have to play around with it just to see what my experience is like. That sounds very irksome. That would be annoying. Yeah, have you reported that bug, Cliff? Or are you not even sure it is a bug?
I'm not sure that it's a bug. It might just be something I'm doing wrong. Who knows?
Okay. Yeah.
This is Brad.
Go ahead, Brad.
This definitely got weird in Sequoia. They changed it, and I don't know. They did a number of things in Sequoia that I'm not happy with, and I've learned to put up with. I certainly don't like what they did to commanders, but don't get me started on that. But I voices is just, they made something that worked just fine more complicated for no apparent good reason. Maybe I just haven't used it enough to figure it out. I tend to not change voices a lot. I'm a committed Alex guy, and that's, but I have gone in and added some voices to my rotor and used them for certain things, but I have not tried it in activities. Now you're giving me an assignment, something I got to go mess with.
I know, me too. Way to give us homework.
Exactly. Thanks, Cliff. See, you go down there to Chris Cole and you get carried away.
All right. Who would like to ask our next question?
Robert?
Yes, Robert.
Okay. Hopefully this is simple. I really got a two-part question. But usually when I use Zoom, I turn off voiceover once I get into Zoom so I don't have to be interrupted by voiceover. Is there a better way of doing it than that? Because when I leave the Zoom meeting or when the Zoom call is over, I just command F5 and turn voiceover back on. Is there another way of silencing voiceover so that I don't have to do that?
This is Brad.
Go ahead, Brad.
They have changed what they call it a little bit. If you go into Zoom settings and in the categories, with command comma, Sarah actually called it settings instead of preferences. Wow. And in the categories list, select, it was always under accessibility. They did something the other day because I was looking at it last night on my other machine. And there was a table. It doesn't seem to be in a table anymore if you've done the most recent update. But there's a listing of every announcement that Zoom makes. And I have gone through and turned pretty much all of them off. So it no longer announces when people come and go in a room. It no longer makes a lot of other announcements. Now, maybe I'm missing out on stuff, but I seem to do just fine without all that information. And I do not have to turn voiceover off at all to have a peaceful Zoom experience. So check that out.
This is Cliff.
Okay. Cliff, and then we'll go back to Robert.
No, I was just going to ask Brad because we've had this discussion before. So it's not even in the that voice that we were talking about before?
For Zoom?
Yeah, remember spoken content. That's it. It's not even that voice doesn't even pop up anymore.
That's something else.
It does, but
that's something else. And spoken content will talk, but I find it talks when I don't have the Zoom app in focus. If I'm doing something that requires me to also be using Club Deck, and I'm in the Club Deck app because I have to monitor what's going on there. If I have gone to Zoom and raised my hand and to let them know that there's somebody on Clubhouse who would like to speak, and I go back to Club Deck, it will talk and keep repeatedly telling me that my hand is raised, and it's in the spoken content voice. And that's a separate issue. But what I have done with that, I lower the volume as far as I can, which doesn't go I don't think I go to 0, but even though I go as low as I can and I still hear it. And then I've gone and sped it up as fast as possible. So whenever it speaks, it's over with very quickly. Okay. Instead of slow. I think the default is 50, which seems to take forever to say whatever it's got to say. But no, that's a separate thing. When I'm in Zoom, it will, and I don't know about those. I don't hear people coming and going in the room because I have that turned off. It's just a raise hand thing I'll hear with.
Or when someone's made a host or co-host, I get it for that
you're right,
too.
You're right, but that doesn't happen as much. But you're right, I'll hear that.
But I do want to go back to Rob. Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, go to Robert. That's all. I'm done.
Okay, Robert.
Okay, so I've got to look for settings or preferences in Zoom and look for accessibility, and then go from there. Got it.
This is Brad. If you just do
Brad.
Command comma, that'll when you're in Zoom, do Command comma, and then if you type AC, you don't even have to interact with that table. You could just type the first letter or two of whatever the category is, and it'll immediately take you to it. And it is, I believe, the second. No, they've added more. It may be the third from the bottom now. Used to be second from the bottom, but I believe it's accessibility. And then it used to be a table. I could use VO Command T to jump to it, and I tried that last night. I did the most recent update that came out Monday. See, I'm brave. And I didn't find a table, but all those things were still there. They just weren't in a table.
Yeah, just as a tip to get to some of those things, because I will turn some of them off and then back on, depending on the type of meeting I'm in. I know it's more work for me, but I can use the item chooser now a lot easier.
Oh yeah!
Now that the table is gone for that thing, so I just type in in my item chooser PART or part, and it gets me to participant. So
it's in the regular Zoom. You're not talking in settings, are you?
No, I'm talking in settings in that accessibility area.
Oh, I see. Yeah. That'll take. Yeah, I understand now.
Yeah.
But there's a list of about, I don't know, 10, 12. And you just uncheck them if you don't want them to talk.
Yep.
To be spoken.
Robert, college.
Go ahead, Robert.
Not absolutely sure that I have the very latest Zoom, the one that Brad has, but I just looked at them here. And for me, when you first go into accessibility, there's a bunch of stuff about closed captioning is the first thing. But if you go on down, at least for me, I still do have that table, and I can interact with that table and adjust these screen. It's the heading is screen reader settings, and I can adjust those. So that's at least how it's working for me on my particular version of Zoom. But Brad, you guys may have a newer version.
I'm looking at it right now in accessibility. When I hold down VO Command and hit the letter T, I get table not found. And I looked at it last night on.
You may not be able to get to it way, Brad, because it's not like he said. There's a heading first, so maybe it just doesn't recognize it as a table, even though it is.
I used to jump to it before, so.
So mine is at the end. So if I just do, VO end, I get to it that way, and then I can interact. But it's not a table. I know, weird.
Oh boy, another thing to look forward to when I update Zoom. Something
Sorry, Robert.
unexpected. That's how it always is.
Yep. I could tell you something else that really. Okay, I shouldn't. So we're. Did we? I think we addressed your comment, Robert.
Yes, you did.
Okay,
I have
all
one
right.
more suggestion for Robert Chanelle, if you don't mind.
Go ahead, Pete.
Just remember the control key is your friend, Robert. You can intercept announcements or notifications that you can't shut off. You can intercept them fairly quickly if your finger's on the control key.
Yeah, I think Chanelle refers to that as the shush key.
Yeah.
Yeah, good one.
Very good. The control, nice, simple solution. All right. Okay, so let's go on to the next question.
This is Cliff.
Okay, go ahead, Cliff.
It's not a question, it's just a quick comment for Pete, because Brad told him that the function key's in a 6-pack. If you buy a extended keyboard now, though, Pete, there is a function key in the bottom left corner. I paid for it just for that.
I still want the old one, but anyway.
This is Pete. I purchased a Matthias keyboard. It's very much same form factor as the Apple extended keyboard, but it's a corded keyboard. It's a USB-C connection. So I don't.
This is Herbie.
Latency at all in Amadeus while editing.
Go ahead, Herbie.
So I'd rather really have my fingernails pulled out, but I have to agree with Cliff. Yes, the latest Apple keyboards now have the function key in the bottom left corner. I disabled mine so I wouldn't accidentally press it. But I would have preferred not to have that, but I'll live. It's very weird having the control key where it is, especially when I want to unmute in Club Deck or go on stage. Control-Shift-A is a very weird thing to do now.
You get used to it. It's just like a MacBook Pro keyboard.
What?
Robert, with one more question about the extended.
Yes, Robert.
I'm thinking seriously about getting one of these, and I'm assuming you all are talking about the keyboard that has the numeric keypad and all that. And this is the keyboard that you buy from Apple.
Correct.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
It's a good keyboard. I do like it. I do find I would have loved to have the function and control keys shifted around, but otherwise, it's a good keyboard.
That would make it a Windows keyboard.
Or this is Pete, or the Matthias, which is almost identical, does not have the function key on the lower left. It is a corded keyboard, and it is $80 compared to what, $140 or $180 for the Apple.
$79.
It's $200 if you wanted the black one.
Yeah.
Exact same form factor, key structure. It's the flat, comes in a silver with white keys. That doesn't matter.
Yeah. Well, Pete, you do know you can just plug in a USB-C cable into the Lightning keyboard and direct connection.
Yep. It doesn't. I said, I think in here a while back, or maybe it was in another thing, I plugged mine in. Mine has the Lightning, but it does have that Touch ID, and it is the black keys with silver. And I plugged it in one time, and a notification popped up that said it's now operating as a wireless keyboard. I cannot repeat that. I can't get it to do that again.
I think they do. I think this is Herbie.
Yes, Herbie.
I think they fixed something now because I no longer. I did have that problem originally last year, but mine no longer does that either. So I'm very happy.
You said you have that problem. What problem?
Where it would tell me that even though I was wired into the thing, that the Bluetooth couldn't turn off, as I was trying to turn off Bluetooth last year to fix a keyboard issue with another computer, and I didn't want it to interfere.
This is Brad. I plugged it in, and I got a notification that popped up that said your keyboard will now operate as a wired keyboard.
Yeah, which is what I thought it was supposed to do.
I don't get
all
that
along.
anymore. I got it once. And I thought, oh, cool, they've added this feature.
Right.
I kept mine plugged in and still seem to experience some latency.
It's a Bluetooth. It always has.
I had the Bluetooth
plugging it
latency.
in only made it charging all the time. It was still a Bluetooth keyboard.
Yeah.
And that's what mine is.
See, with this Matthias.
I understand.
I love it. Yeah.
I understand. But I'm just saying, one time I got that notification that plugging in the wire I plugged it in to charge it. And I got a notification that said it will now operate as a wired keyboard. I thought, cool, they've added this feature into one of these updates to Sequoia, but I can't get it to repeat. I've tried and tried, and it does not give me that notice anymore. Plus, if I attempt to turn off with it plugged in, if I attempt to turn off Bluetooth, it warns me that I will no longer have a keyboard if I do this. So I don't know what the deal is. I'm just assuming that I don't know why it gave me that notice one time. But Pete's right. I bought one of those Matthias keyboards too. They're very nice. It's just like the wired one that Apple used to sell.
And if you're doing some tight editing in Amadeus Pro, a really, really tight spot, you don't have any of the latency that I experienced with the Apple extended.
don't get a Touch ID, and I use that all the time. So
Right, correct.
I will plug it in if I need to use it, and then I go back to my magic Bluetooth keyboard.
Christina?
Yes, Christina.
I have a question, and also if you guys would like, I have an update on the activities thing. But first, my keyboard question.
Okay, go ahead.
You guys mentioned keyboards without a function key. Can you not have a function key? Because I use it all the time. I thought it was necessary.
This is Herbie.
Go ahead, Herbie.
I mean, yeah, you can. I disabled the function key in the keyboard settings so that mine wouldn't get pressed accidentally.
You're talking, excuse me, this is Brad.
Yes, Brad.
Christina, are you talking about the FN key or the F keys?
The one in the corner, the bottom corner, the function key.
I have not disabled mine because it is necessary when I want my arrow keys to be something other than arrow keys, which is like all the time.
Right, and I use it for the function keys. At least that's how I have mine.
Well, you can
up.
reverse that. You can make it you can make it so your F keys are F keys by default, and you can reverse the behavior by default.
Okay.
An Apple laptop, at least for sure, and the others too, as a matter of fact. But the F keys do hardware functions, and if you want them to be actual F keys, you have to hold the FN key down. But there is a setting in keyboard, system settings under keyboard. Then there's a shortcuts button where you can go in there and hit a toggle on. Actually, it's an on-off switch that will reverse that behavior, and your F keys will be F keys by default.
Okay.
Which makes it real nice if you're using the Magic Bluetooth extended keyboard, because the FN key is in the 6-pack area, the extended keys area, which means it's hard to do VO, no matter whether you have it set to be Control Option or Caps Lock. Do that with one hand, reach up and hit the whichever F key you need to press. You need like a third hand, or a really long nose.
Unless you got the 2025 version.
Yeah.
Okay,
or that new one, right?
I was asking because I am considering purchasing an extended keyboard, and you guys mentioned it possibly not having that function key, and I'm thinking, but I use that all the time. How can I? Okay, they do have it now. Okay.
It's just not in the same position as it is on your built-in MacBook Pro. It's in the 6-pack area. There's extended keys above the arrows between the QWERTY typing area and the number pad. It's like a 9-pack because it's a 6-pack, and then they put 3 more F keys above it. But what Cliff has is a new one that came out recently that has a USB port instead of Lightning, and they moved the FN key from, the key is still there, it just does something else. And they added an FN key down to the far left end of the bottom row. So it's the same general layout as what you get on layout as what you get on a MacBook Pro keyboard. Personally, and I've wanted them to do that for a long time, because I missed having an FN key in the normal FN key place.
Okay, great. Thank you. That actually helps a lot.
This is Robert with another keyboard.
Okay, go ahead, Robert.
So just to try to clear up my confusion, this Matthias keyboard that you can get, is it a wired keyboard or a Bluetooth keyboard? I'm confused about that.
Wired USB.
It's a wired USB-C.
Thank you.
All right. Good. I was wondering that too. All right. So then I believe, Christina, you said you had an update on the activities.
Yes, I tested it on my Amadeus Pro activity since it's the only one that I have. and mine will switch voices.
Okay.
So, but I wanted to say just in case. Okay. So, so when you go to the activities, not tab, but section, and you go to the activity that you want, you have the checkbox for voices, and then there's the settings button. You of course activate that, but at the very top it says heading primary voice, and that's the one you definitely want to make sure is set to the voice. So mine now says Alex. Before it said Samantha, but under that is where you can add rotor voices. So if you just add rotor voices, I don't think that will change the voice, if that makes sense.
That makes sense. Okay.
So I'm not sure how Cliff has his set, but that's the only thing I can think of. But it did work for me. So.
Okay.
And that is all.
Thank you.
Have an easier time admitting to getting a tip from a rookie than taking advice from Herbie. So thank you for that.
All right. Excellent. So who has our next question? Way to troubleshoot on this call. That's really what makes it valuable.
Thank you, Brad.
Well, this is Herbie.
Yes, Herbie.
So just real quick, since with Amadeus Pro, I thought I'd heard it mentioned last week that right now, at least, it may not work after the next macOS update unless he makes some changes. Did I understand that correctly, or was I hearing things? No comments from Cliff.
What's the question? I'm sorry.
Will Amadeus Pro work after macOS 26?
Okay. Go ahead, Cliff.
I'm using Amadeus Pro, or not Amadeus Pro, but I'm using Tahoe on both my MacBook Air and Mac Studio, and I have no issues.
No, it's the version. I'm after asking the version after Tahoe.
This is Brad.
This Robert.
I heard Brad first.
Okay, yeah.
Currently, Amadeus Pro is an Intel app that requires Rosetta 2.
Rosetta 2.
And what they're discussing now is, yes, it will work with Tahoe. And whatever comes next, I can't remember if it's whatever comes next or whatever comes after the next one. They will deprecate the ability to use Intel-based apps on Apple Silicon. So currently, Amadeus Pro, if you look at it in your applications folder and do get info, it tells you it is an Intel app. So unless they update it to Apple Silicon, which I can't imagine they won't. I mean,
that app is too popular. Yeah, we all use it. That app is too popular.
Yeah. And I can understand he hasn't done it. He's a small shop, right? One guy,
Martin. Yeah.
So he hasn't done it, but and from what I haven't used it for very long, but people who have, like Darcy, tell me it works better as an Intel-based app on Apple Silicon than it did on an Intel Mac. So it's not like it's suffering, but the guy will have to, either that or he'll, soon he won't be able to continue doing business if he doesn't sooner or later.
Christina.
Yeah, go ahead.
I think Robert had something.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Thanks, Pete. I appreciate that.
Go ahead, Robert.
No, you all covered the Rosetta thing that I was gonna mention, and I would just say that Martin probably will update it. He's done a good job of keeping it updated every time there's a change where it has to be something has to be changed. He gets it out just before or right after the release, so I bet he will. But we don't.
I agree.
All right, and Christina?
I believe what I read today is that Rosetta or Intel based software is going to be supported through 27.
Okay.
I think that's what I saw just today because I was wondering the same thing. Is this the last year or is next year? And I thought it said 2 more years through 27.
This is Brad. That's what I thought as well.
All right, that's
whatever
what
comes after Tahoe will be the last one that supports Intel. This one, Tahoe, is the last one that will support that works on an Intel Mac. And after Tahoe, it will no longer work on anything, but the Mac OS will no longer run on anything that isn't Apple Silicon.
Mm-hmm. And that's
which, when
not
you
a
think about
voiceover
it,
specific issue, is it?
No,
that's not a voiceover specific issue.
No, it has nothing to do with voiceover. Right. It's Mac OS.
No, this is
nothing at all to do with voiceover. But they're just saying that Mac OS, what they got? Oh, it doesn't have a number. Mac OS 26. Excuse me, I still want to call it 16. But Mac OS 26, nicknamed Tahoe, will be the last Mac OS that supports an Intel-based Mac of any kind.
All right, perfect. That's what I wanted to know. So there's 2 questions answered on here. Okay.
All right, who wants to ask our next question?
I have a question.
Oh, okay. Go ahead, Brad.
Well, if you're running Tahoe, are your Rogue Amoeba apps working as expected on it? Or are you using Rogue Amoeba apps?
Okay, this is Robert. Oh, go ahead, Robert.
Go ahead, Robert.
Of course, you would ask the question when I'm not in the app, but yes, they are working. They give you a warning when you first open them, but they work just fine. I've been recording meetings for the last 2 weeks, I guess it has been. And Farrago sound source I don't use because to me it's crap. But anyway, Loopback is the only one that was giving me a headache. But I jumped through some hoops and got it to work. So
we're Loopback and Audio Hijack.
Yeah, and I think Robert was trying to say something.
No, I was just going to say that they announced on their blog, Rogue Amoeba announced on their blog that their apps are fully Tahoe ready.
Okay. Good to know.
I would think so. The big deal was when we went to Sequoia, you had to be updated to ARK. And
right.
I wouldn't think they'd do anything different for the next one, maybe. Very good. Good to know.
All right. Who would like to ask our next question? I know potentially Paul had one, but you can feel free, Paul, to whenever you're ready or not.
I'm here.
Okay.
Yeah. Gosh, guys, gotten really deep into some stuff here.
It's good to step back a little bit.
I'm going to need to be buying a new computer in the fall. And I was looking at the Mac Minis. Not going to be a heavy user, but it's been a while since I actually have been using the computer much with my iPhone and whatever. So anyway, if anybody had any comments, there seems to be a big selection in capabilities and processor and all. I got up to a 4 and a 1 to 4, I guess. And does anybody have any opinion over the minis compared to something else? Another version?
No, there's no opinions here.
No. Sure.
Just get something with an M4. Don't get anything below
which the
an M4.
Mini has now. Where the Mini
it has an M4, or you can get an M4 Pro in a Mini. And
what's the biggest difference in those two?
Price.
More horsepower. You'll be fine with an M4. I mean, I have a 2021 M1 MacBook Pro, and the current basic M4 processor is probably outperforms this. This was the top level M1 Pro processor, and I'm sure the current M4 outperforms this one by a big leap, I'm sure. But I would get whatever your budget allows. Mac Mini's a good choice. I wouldn't so much worry about the processor as I would get any M4 and you'll be fine. Get as much RAM and SSD storage space as your budget will allow, because they are not upgradable. Do not ever get a Mac with only 256 gigabyte SSD. But get whatever your budget will allow because you're stuck with what you get.
Is the 24 gigs of RAM, is that a good number or should it be the 32?
It should do you fine.
Okay, that's what
Depends on what you're doing. I mean, if you're going to do a lot of audio editing, video editing, I doubt a lot of us aren't doing video editing, but you never know. I would say 24 is fine.
This is Cliff.
Yes.
M4 is limited to 24. If you go to the M4 Pro, you can get more RAM. Let's see what Cliff's got to say, Mr. Mac Studio.
No, I was just going to ask him if he was a total, because if he is, the Mini would be a great thing to get because you get more bang for your buck. You can put more in it. You don't have to worry about the extra stuff. Like the screen is half of the cost. Well, not maybe a half, but a third of the cost of the Airs and the Pros. But if you don't need to get that screen and get the more bang for your buck in those Minis.
Well, it'll be a family computer, and I do have a good Dell computer or monitor, so that should work out fine.
Yeah, and this is Herbie.
Yes, Herbie.
The Mac Minis are much more easier to carry around too, and mine's gone on a couple of trips with me, and there
are those who like to take it apart, put it in their suitcase. We even have a friend of ours who's convinced he can make it a MacBook replacement, which it's a nice pet project. But,
a what? I'm confused.
A laptop
Shree
replacement.
wants to take it with him on the air. He wants to get a power. What do you call it? A power supply.
Power bank. Yeah.
That will allow power bank that will allow him to run AC power off of it.
Oh boy.
Of course, he wants to take it with him when he flies back and forth to India, but he's also not telling you that certain airlines like American, he flies Air India, I believe, or something else, Emirates, I think, on this upcoming trip. They have AC power at your seat.
Yeah, and Herbie just put it in
he doesn't need a monitor. But personally, I find that a lot of trouble. I'd much rather pay the money and have a MacBook Air if I'm going to.
Oh, no. I would okay. Well, it's not about what I would do.
So this is Herbie.
Go ahead, Herbie.
I know.
The issue is going to be because the AC supplies I've noticed on airplanes really are going to vary. So it really depends on the amount of power.
That is true. That is true. I hadn't even thought about that. You're right. Not all AC powers.
I've never tried to use mine on an airplane.
Yeah, but you still put it in your backpack. It's not packed away in the suitcase.
Yeah, but so this is Herbie. What Shree's talking about is actually using the MacBook Mini on an airplane.
Correct.
Right.
Correct.
I've never actually
it's one thing to
that.
put the thing with its power cord and a external keyboard in your suitcase.
And back.
And I did that last week when I went to vacation. My sons and I drove. We stayed at a house which had regular AC power, and it was a piece of cake. Just plug it in and you're good to go.
That's doable.
Absolutely.
And the new Mac Mini is very small, 5 inches square, about 1.5 inches tall.
Or you just do like Clayton, live the Mac Studio at home and buy a MacBook Air and be portable. So
there you go.
The Mac Mini is portable.
Pull out the wallet.
Well, so hold on. Okay, so this is Herbie.
Yeah.
It's not that the Mac Mini isn't portable, it's where are you planning to use it? Are you going to trust it on an airplane power supply versus a home power supply? Those are two different. Well, so does that make sense? Like I carry the Mac Mini from here to Washington State, but I'm not trying to use it while in the airport. I'm not trying to use it while on an airplane or in a car. Does that make sense?
To me, it's your definition of portable. And a Mac Mini is a desktop computer. It is not a portable computer. It is a small computer that can be packed in a suitcase and taken with you. But to me, that does not make it a portable computer. That makes it a small computer.
Right. And I will tell you from my experiences, like with just charging my airplane on some of the, at least with Southwest, like the USB-C plugs, they just keep your battery in place, but they don't necessarily charge the battery. So again, it's going to vary that I would be a little bit nervous about using it. If I wanted to use a computer on an airplane, I probably would I'd feel more inclined to use a laptop that
Correct.
could alternate between.
But you could still, if you were going out somewhere, as long as the place had a plug, not an airplane. I'm not talking about an airplane, but if you brought it could still be used portably as long as a place had a plug.
A plug that was connected to a normal power supply. Yes.
Again, it depends on your definition of portable, and I do not consider a MacBook, a Mac Mini to be a portable computer.
Okay, go ahead, John. Sorry.
No, that's okay. I have a clarification question about this because I've been told that, for example, with a laptop, they said that you can't bring it through security and on a plane unless you show them that you can power it on. Like, does that same
no?
Does that same thing apply to a Mac Mini?
I've never had to deal with that.
This is
Dexter. I hear Dexter.
Sri told me that when he was leaving India, he had to do that, but not in the United States.
Yeah, okay. Go ahead, Dexter.
Okay, I am in India, and I have never had to power mine on. Okay, not even once, and I travel back and forth. Now, I would never consider using the Mac Mini as a quote unquote portable. And also, the other thing is in India, power is not always reliable. I've had many days we will lose power, sometimes for minutes, sometimes for hours. And so it's, much more stable to take and use. And I actually use the MacBook Air because of the fact that it is much lighter, and some airlines only allow you 16 pounds on your carry-on. Well, that extra pound and a part for the Pro makes a difference, where you can use a hub and just, leave the hub one place for another, and, very cheap, and also, less weight.
So,
Christina?
this is Herbie.
Okay, Christina, and then Herbie.
I didn't hear Christina, sorry.
It's pretty quick. With the Mac Minis, do you guys does it require a dongle or anything to trick it that it has a display, or is it good to go as is?
This is Herbie.
Go ahead, Herbie.
No. Now, what's really interesting is I don't like, it was like my mini PC, I got, it actually has the little thing that, that you see on laptops, that little rectangular block piece. And then unlike on your Mac laptop, it's a square, but my Mac Mini does not. It's just a straight, and it's a 2-prong plug too. So it's just a straight 2-prong plug that, just goes into any outlet.
The power supply is internal. It's just a cord.
Right.
Yeah. But there
He's
is
talking
no
about a simulated
she's
monitor.
talking about the monitor, and you
do not need a dongle or anything on the current Mac Minis. You haven't for a few years. I had a 2012, and you used to have to fool it with
I've got the 21
HDMI
M1
to DVI adapter.
It goes by itself.
Okay, great. So no, we don't have to do any tricks. It's ready to go.
No tricks necessary.
Super
not
cool.
anymore. You
can't trick Apple anyway.
No, you used to. I had a 2012, and you had to plug in an HDMI to VGA adapter.
Yeah, it was a joke, Brett.
Adapter. No, you used to have to plug in and then if that little dongle adapter thing was plugged in, it thought it had a monitor.
Right.
Just because something was plugged into the HDMI port. But they don't, I don't know if it was 2014 or 2018 when that changed, but you don't have to plug anything in anymore. It just works.
I did hear some time ago that you used to, but that's great. So
it is really great. I want one. Anyway.
And that's what makes, the Mac Mini's a really nice starter Mac for somebody who's
this is Herbie.
Looking to get started without having to purchase
This is Angelica.
Oh, go ahead, Angelica.
Yeah, go ahead, Angelica.
Yes. Let me see. Like if you have a little tablet, you can take that with you on the airplane as well, and possibly use the Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Of course.
On the tablets.
Yeah. Like an iPad or something. Yes, of course.
Yeah, I have Android, but like the Android devices, the Android tablets are good as well.
Right, but we're talking about the Mac.
Yeah, but it's a good point, though. You know, you can definitely use your tablets more easily on a plane. Go ahead, Herbie, with your comment.
Just one thing. Well, just a couple thoughts. So yeah, the Mac Mini, it depends on how you use it. Like, the way I use it, because I just use it in different houses. I'm not traveling with it all the time, so it's portable enough for me, but that's a good, like if I was going to use it at school, for instance, or whatever, I'd probably be more inclined to use a laptop where because I wouldn't know if I'd have access to a plug or not. So yeah, that, depending on how you use it. The other factor, of course, I was going to say with the Mac Mini, though, is like if you're wanting something with good speakers, you're not going to get that with a Mac Mini. It has an internal speaker, which is nice when you don't have, if your headphones are not working or whatever. But it's not a good speaker by any means. You can tell it's an internal speaker, if that makes sense. So if you're needing something with decent speakers, then you'd want to go the laptop route, or get a set of external speakers, of course, or a Bluetooth one. But Bluetooth, of course, can create more lag.
Are fantastic with a Mac Mini.
Yep.
This is John.
Chanelle, we lost you.
I was just asking if it muted for a second because I had noise, but I was just going to ask you, had you finished your thought?
I am finished, yes.
Okay, so go ahead, John.
So one thing, like I know how Herbie feels about WhatsApp, but for the WhatsApp users, yeah, just if you're using a Mac Mini, have a monitor on hand just to set it up, because you need the monitor for the QR code.
That I do agree with.
Yep, good point.
So this is Herbie. I will just say WhatsApp is the only app I cannot currently use on the Mac because of the lack of a monitor. And I thought about trying it when I was at my parents' house, seeing about plugging in a monitor, but in my experience in the past on the laptop, WhatsApp would make me re-authenticate like every 90 days. So it's like, what's the point?
All right. Yeah, we've had an excellent discussion about points to consider for the Mac Mini and where it's good and what counts as portable. Do we have any other questions?
Yes, there's one. Yes. This is Angelica again.
Okay.
When will y'all be talking about the iBug? I mean, not the iBug, the Android.
Oh, so we do that on the third Wednesday of every month. And Hershey and Ava would love to have you join them. That is from 7 to 8:30 p.m. at the same conference line, the same Zoom ID and link that you use to get in. And let's see, what is the third Wednesday?
Changes. I don't know.
Yeah.
We've already had it this month.
They've already had it. So
July 16th?
Okay, yes. July 16th. So you'll want to come then, and they'd be more than happy to talk to you about Android.
Okay. And what is the next discussion gonna okay, no, I'm sorry. What is the next discussion gonna be? When? And when?
So
July 16th, 7 p.m. Central.
July 16th?
Yes, that's the third Wednesday in July.
Okay.
7 p.m. Central.
So y'all won't have anything else, like even if it's a different topic between now and then?
Oh, yes, we do.
Yeah. I thought you meant Android.
Yeah, no, so our next, and I forgot to announce this, but next Monday we'll have iBug Buzz, and that's a very similar format to this call, except it's all about iOS, and that's, is that happening next Monday?
I don't know.
Yeah,
I think it is.
Yeah.
The
Okay.
30th.
Sorry, I'm off because of convention schedules and all that. But that will take place from 7 to 9 p.m. Central. Yeah,
I
7
don't
to
think
9.
they're taking off at all for the next several weeks.
Okay, they're not. Yeah. And then we also have on Tuesdays, well, next Tuesday, it's a shorter program. Or no, it isn't next Tuesday because
it's next Tuesday.
Yeah, it is, because
Yeah.
that'll be the first.
Mac
July
Buzz.
1st.
Today was the mini buzz, so next
Okay.
Tuesday. Yeah.
This was the fourth.
The Mac Buzz
Tuesday
next
will be
Tuesday
the
at
first
5 p.m.
Tuesday.
where we talk, we take Mac discussions there too. And
All right.
First and third
Yep.
Tuesday. Second and fourth, it's mini buzz, a mini version of the Monday night. Sort of,
Yeah,
not
okay.
really.
Yeah.
Not-
August
I don't know what they
2nd
do
is the
on that
talent
anymore.
show.
Oh, yes.
Christina,
Yes, Christina?
isn't there something on Saturday? I mean, of course, there's a Friday night movie. But I
Apple
thought there was
Workshop.
something
Yeah,
Saturday.
Apple Workshop. I did mention that, but in
Apple
case I
Workshop
didn't.
is the fourth Saturday.
Saturday,
That will
yeah.
be this week,
From 2 to 4 p.m.
4.
2 to 4.
Yeah.
Paul.
And on the second Sunday
Sunday.
of each month from 4 to 6, we do the Apple Cafe, which is where we present an app or something of that nature. We did Seeing AI in June.
Hmm.
And I don't know, I can't remember what's coming up in. No, we're not doing it in July. It's off because of conventions.
August will be the Agiga Echo glasses.
Oh, okay. Wow, look at everybody.
Interviewing the developer.
All right.
This is Paul.
Yes, Paul?
Might suggest that they look at the web page. That probably would be less confusing.
It probably would. Or just sign up for the sign up for the email and you'll get the little the emails that come out that let you know. Yeah. Well, now that we've talked about our iBug trivia and we've all proven that everybody knows except me when things are happening.
And we got your back.
Yeah. Do we have any other Mac questions?
This is John.
Okay, go ahead, John.
So I was able to play podcasts on my Mac, and I was able to find adjust the playback speed in the Apple menu. But can I adjust it when I'm in the app itself, or do I have to use the Apple menu?
Okay. So in the podcast, there's a podcast. Let's see.
The podcast app itself, yeah.
Okay.
You can adjust how fast it plays. I don't know. Never use it.
Neither do I.
I've used it once.
I'd have to play with it.
I think you can on the phone though, so you should be able to. I would.
Yeah, but
think
he's
on
talking about the Mac.
Yeah.
So yeah, you'd think you would be able to if you could do it on the phone app. Yeah.
You're saying you do it in the menu bar. So what do you mean? You do VOM and go in and adjust it that way?
This is John.
Yeah, go ahead, John.
Yeah, so when I was first trying out the podcast app, I tried finding it within the playback menu in the podcast app itself, but then I couldn't find it there. So I tried the Apple menu. I did VOM, and then I went to there's something in the Apple menu, and I was like, oh, there's playback speed. But I guess I was just wondering if I could adjust it within the app itself instead of having to go to the Apple menu.
The Apple menu, are you talking about like VOMM? Is that what you did, or did you just do VOM?
No, he did VOM.
Right. Well, the Apple menu could imply the menu extra. Anyway, I guess it doesn't matter. But yeah, that's true. Your item chooser, but you'd kind of have to know what to look for.
Playback. Like he said, he found it in playback speed or type speed or something. You have to play with it.
So your item chooser is VOI, and you type that, and then you would just try to type in a few of the letters from the word or thing you're looking for, and then you would press enter or VO space to move to that item once you find it. And you can navigate the item chooser list by pressing the up and down arrows. So, and then, like I said, enter a VO space to get to the item. And then from there, you would have to, either interact with it or hit VO space again or something. Item chooser will bring your focus to that item, and then you have to use your voiceover cursor or keyboard commands to take additional actions.
This is Herbie.
Yes, Herbie.
Just looking at it right now, during the quick glance, I do not see a way within the main player to adjust the rate. Because, in the More menu, we have, I'll tell you, report, remove download, go to show, play next, save episode, mark as played, view transcript, share episode, copy link, report a concern, and it goes back to remove download. If you VO right past the play pause button, well, I'll tell you what you get. So starting from the left, you've got your typical close button. Actually, you don't have the artwork. Then it tells you the date of the podcast, the name of it, then the resume, save episode, downloaded, more. Facilitator, then it goes into this is the iBug podcast, so it's giving me the show notes, episode website, transcribe, and then it gives you information about the podcast.
Did you actually try to start it playing just to see?
Yes.
Okay, what if the controls would be different?
And then I see there's a controls option in the play menu. Now, what if we go to the context menu in the play button? Where's my resume button? Here we go. Nope. No shortcut menu to even access. Okay. So it looks like you do have to do, just off a cursory glance, and I'll have to play with it more, but at the moment, yeah, you do have to play around in the menus to do things with that app, so.
There may be a keyboard shortcut associated with the menu options, though. I don't know if...
Let me double check. Okay, play as option space, next is command right arrow, which is what I would expect. Okay, playback speed is a menu. Okay, looks like you can use your option and number keys. So normal is option 1, 1.25 is option 2. And it looks like you can go as slow as option 0. And you can go as high as option 5. So let's see if it works here. Sorry, Sonia, I'm going to speed you up. Yep, it does work. Okay. So yeah, use options 0 through 5.
Thank you.
Yep, as you're playing the content. Yep.
As you're playing yep. So yeah, the menus will give you if you look within the menus themselves and you let it go all the way through, it'll give you the whole different sets of inbuilt commands. So your volume up and volume down, left and right, play, spot, pause, rewind. So there's a lot of different shortcuts built in. So there you go.
Valencia?
This is
Valencia, go ahead.
Hi, I got on super late, so I apologize. I was wondering if you could briefly go over the class that you teach on the Mac and how that operates, I guess.
All right. Well, the best thing you could do is contact me. I don't want to take too much time, but it's basically a 12-week class over Mac Basics, and they take place over Zoom. And contact me with my email address that's listed on the iBug Today website.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
This is Brad.
Go ahead, Brad.
So I went back and looked at the Zoom settings, and I have found where you can toggle on or off what they call screen reader alerts. I am running the latest version that came out yesterday, I guess, 6.5.1.
Me too.
And under accessibility, like I said, I couldn't find a table because there is none.
No.
You navigate to a section called Screen Reader Alerts, and they are no longer checkboxes. They are toggle switches, toggle on, toggle off. And it lists a number of things, announcing when people come and go, announcing, I don't know, there was a bunch of them. I also found that I could use the item chooser trying to get the screen reader alert. However, I have to type too many letters because there was a bunch of things that started with SCRE.
Oh, I just typed like participant, PAR, that one I want exactly.
But I'm looking for the whole section, not just one thing.
Okay.
So I've found that if I type SCR and then arrow down, I get to screen reader alerts, and it actually is in the list twice for some reason. Because it's just, that's the way it's labeled, and then selected, and that gets you to that section, and then you can VO right arrow through the different toggles, and you can turn them off. And I found, like I said, most of mine were already turned off. There's a few I don't have turned off, but that's what they did with it. It's no longer in a table.
Right. All right. Thank you.
This is Charlene. Yeah.
Oh, go ahead, Charlene.
I have a question. I'm wondering, it's about powering on. When I power on and put in my password, sometimes that works great, and soon I hear voiceover is on, the welcoming. But if I type it in incorrectly, I don't know. I sit there and wait for it, and then I realize, okay, I must have typed it in wrong. Does anyone have anything in settings that they have used to alert you? Password not correct?
This is Herbie.
Go ahead, Herbie.
What model Mac are you using?
Oh, such a good question. This is what model? I'm gonna have to look in settings.
Would you?
Right. Let me ask this then, and then we'll go to Brad. Does your voiceover actually come on at startup?
After it's powered on, so I have to put in my password, so it goes bling. You know.
Oh, okay. So I see what you're asking. That's a totally different thing. Okay. Yes, you need to go under settings. You need to go to lock screen.
Okay.
And then there's a button that says accessibility. And then there's a option for turning on voiceover. And when you do that, then when you turn on your computer next, voiceover will come on at startup.
Okay, and that's under lock screen. It's not under accessibility. It's lock screen.
Correct.
Then
lock screen. System setting. Go to your system settings and then lock screen.
Okay, thank you very much.
And then there's an accessibility button that you're looking for.
In lock screen. Okay.
And then there's a list of things you can turn on.
Yes.
Different accessibility options.
Thank you. Okay. Thank you. I'll check that out.
It used to be under user accounts, but they changed it a while back.
Okay. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. All right. Great question. Who would like to ask the next one?
This is Tim.
Go ahead, Tim. Hi.
Hello. Yes, the question I have is with regards to the music app. I haven't used the music app intentionally since the Mac training class, and then switched over to QuickTime Player once Herbie gave me the instructions on how to use it. Anyway, the problem I'm having is that intermittently sometimes music app will just launch itself without even it having an audio file or anything, because I'm playing all my recordings and so forth from the class or elsewhere using the QuickTime Player. And to add insult to injury, anytime that I try to quit or force quit, the music app just remains open. I cannot seem to get it to quit short of restarting the whole computer. So I was wondering if anyone has any suggestions, and I've already looked, and it is not listed in the login items under the user and groups when I log in.
This is Herbie.
Yes, Herbie.
Are you using any type of Bluetooth headset when this happens?
Well, aside from my AirPods, which I don't use with my computer, no.
No, okay, because with the AirPods, you can hit the play pause button, and that definitely launches the music app.
Yes, it will.
Yes, so that's one way that can definitely happen. I know from experience when I think it's connected to my iPhone, and the next thing I hear music is launching, I was like, oh, I'm connected to the wrong thing. I would never have such a thing happen to me.
How can I disable that? Is this possible?
But you're saying when this happens, you can't. But you're saying when this happens, you're not even using Bluetooth, correct?
Well, I'm using the AirPods, but I only use them with my iPhone or iPad. I almost never
No,
use.
but what I'm asking is, are you using any AirPods or any Bluetooth device that's connected to your Mac, or are you just using regular headphones or that's what I'm asking specifically. What?
No, I do not use any headphones or speakers or Bluetooth keyboards or mice or anything like that.
Okay, so nothing external that would be triggering a play pause button then.
Christina?
Okay, Brad and then Christina.
Tim, if you have your AirPods in, they probably are, by default, they're set to automatically switch to from your phone to your Mac to your iPad, whatever. And what you can do to prevent that is on each device, go in, like you have one pair of AirPods, whatever they are. Let's just say they're AirPods Pro, okay? So you connect them to your Mac, go into Bluetooth, select the AirPods Pro, and then there's a button. I can't remember how it's labeled, but it's like more settings. And you can go in there and there's a pop-up box. It's asking you, do they connect when last connected, or do they automatically connect? And I change all mine to when last connected, so they don't automatically on their own decide that they want to, connect to whatever device it is I'm using. If I'm using them on another device, and then for some reason something happens and they'll automatically switch to my Mac. I mean, I tell my AirPods Pro to automatically connect to my iPhone because that's what I use them with 99% of the time. Right now I'm using them on my MacBook Pro, but I had to go into the Bluetooth settings and select AirPods Pro to tell them to connect to the MacBook Pro. They won't do it automatically. Now, if you take the stem on like AirPods Pro, anything AirPods 3, AirPods Pro or newer, and give it a double squeeze. That's the same thing as play pause, and that's what's automatically launching your music app. And there's no way to stop that. It's going to, if you're wearing your AirPods and they're connected to your Mac, and you give that stem a quick double squeeze, it will kick off the music app. And the reason you may not be able to stop it is you need to do Alt Tab and make sure that the music app is in focus. And then you should be able to do Command Q and quit it.
Okay. Thank you.
Well, in response to that, I've never ever used the double squeeze on the stem of the AirPods.
What kind of AirPods are they?
When music app is in focus, the Command Q does not work and the force quit does not work.
Make sure the app is in focus. Are you sure?
I'm positive, yes.
Is it currently downloading content maybe that you purchased on another device?
No, because I don't purchase many music. I just have podcasts and they all go to my iPhone.
I think Christina had a comment earlier.
I had a question, but for Tim, but I think maybe I figured it out. If I understood him correctly, Tim, you're not opening a file when this happens, correct? Does it just happen out of nowhere? Correct. Or does it happen when you open it? Okay, all right.
Correct.
I'm not sure.
And so
this is her. Oh, go ahead, Chanelle.
And you can always bring up force quit applications, a list of all running applications. I'm going to do it with Command Option Shift.
Command Option Escape.
Yeah.
Command
Chanelle,
Option Shift Escape will force quit the currently focused app.
If I go to force quit, I get the force quit window. I enter the table in the force quit window, select music, tell it to force quit, and confirm that I really want to quit, and music is still open.
So this is Herbie. First of all, we've lost Chanelle. She is muted. Second of all, part of what could be happening with the music app by it's being fussy to close is I know the first thing it always wants to do is sync your library. And so I wonder if it's trying to do that. Does the music app itself say anything? Have you looked in it?
No, I have not, because I don't know exactly where I would see what it's downloading or trying to do.
Via right gets, just that's where you've got to do some exploration, because it might be telling you it might be asking you something. So I would actually, next time that launches, I would actually just see if it's asking you anything, or see if it says loading library. And if it's saying loading library, just let it sit for about a little while and then give that a chance to go away, and then you might find it'll cooperate more. But
and also search for a dialogue, VO F1 twice, see if there's a system dialogue.
There you go, you're back.
And force quit applications is Command Option Escape. Don't do Command Option Shift Escape.
Oh, that's what you did. That force quits the currently focused app.
I know.
Well, that's great if you're in the music app and you're trying to. It may or may not work. But what Tim was saying, Chanelle, because you missed this.
I know. I'm sorry. I feel like such a silly.
What Tim was saying is when he quits it, it still stays open. So that's what I was trying to tell him. It'd be a good idea before trying to force quit it next time to really look in the app itself to see what it's telling you.
Yes, that it would.
This is Angelica.
Yes, go ahead.
Okay. Thank you so much for your time, but my battery is fixing to die.
All right. Well, thanks for joining us, and we hope to have you on another event like our Android call. So thank you.
Good night.
Oh, we've got 2 minutes anyway, so.
Oh, yeah, we do. Wow, time's going by fast.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Okay.
Christina?
Yeah, go ahead, Christina.
Now, I've never had this happen, but it's just a thought. Apple Music isn't, I'm trying to think how to put this. Continuity. You know how sometimes you open something on your iPhone and it shows up on your Mac? Could that be happening? I've never had that happen with Apple
This
Music.
is Herbie.
But
go ahead, Herbie.
No, Apple Music, the music app does not work in continuity.
Okay, the same here. I've never experienced that, so I was just trying to figure out what could be happening.
That's why I think it would be useful to know what the music app itself is saying. Like, is it saying loading library? Is it asking
exactly?
Yeah,
to
that
do
would
something?
be very
So that's where you've got to use the techniques we taught you to actually look within the app.
Yep.
And see if it's and then come back on the Mac Mini Buzz next week, and so that's your homework. Is next time that happens is to actually look in the music app.
This is Brad. There's a setting in there, and you can tell it to not download your library. Just do it in the cloud.
You can.
That's what I do on my MacBook Pro. I tell it to access everything to the cloud, and on my Mac Studio is where. Actually, that's where the library is.
This is Tim.
Yes, Tim.
I will check on what Herbie's suggestion to see if music is doing anything. But I also, before we close tonight, I just wanted to suggest that I really appreciated the fact that there were a lot of people in the group this evening that were talking about Amadeus Pro, which I've not used since I lost all my vision. So I was wondering if anyone would be able to try and do a class on using Amadeus Pro with VoiceOver, because I'd like to try and get back into using that.
Well, there are some excellent resources out there. I
think Robert and Cliff would be perfect for that.
I think Pete would be perfect for that because he's already done stuff, you know?
Tell them where they can get your trading things online or in the app.
Well, I did a tutorial series, a demo series, a couple of them. One on just an Amadeus Pro demo series, and then another one on the process of creating a podcast. And they're not intended to be training material, so they're lacking a lot. But some people find them helpful, and I've got them available. Tim, if you'd like them, I can get your phone number or your contact information. I can send you a folder.
Can't you still get them on the website?
Yeah, they're hit or miss. The searching for them is hit or miss. So I've got them consolidated in a Dropbox folder or in a pCloud folder. So
Tim, if you want
from those,
Pete is too modest. They're excellent.
He is being modest.
And Tim, if you want them, just send me an email. I will forward your email along to Pete, and then we'll get it squared away.
Okay, thank you very much.
All right. Thanks. I need to end this call now, but thanks everyone for coming. I appreciate the discussion. Thank you very much, and we'll see you back here next month.
Bye, everyone.
Good
Bye.
job.
Good night.
Thanks for the input.